a Ford Falcon. I bought it in 1991 from a guy in Orange County, California. We bought it on the Wednesday and drove it to Monterey to the historic races on the Friday. When I got it back to the UK, we converted it into a race car, in inverted commas. I mean, it's never been the raciest of cars, but ever since then we've just had as many adventures as possible. I've raced it, when I say all over the world, that's not an exaggeration. We did actually take it back to Monterey in 2003 to celebrate the Ford centenary. But we've campaigned it at the Spa 6 hours twice. The Nürburgring, we've done 3 hours on the Nordschleife twice. I drove it to Monza and competed in a saloon car race at Monza. The car and I have done a lot together. Come and have a look. It's pretty stock, other than the fact it has fiberglass wings and fiberglass bonnet. They were homologated by Alan Mann when he ran the 1964 Monte Carlo cars. And it has aluminium bumpers, which was another thing that he did back then. I'm not a big fan of stickers, but I do like the fact that we have a little bit of history here on the wings. Scrutineering sticker from the Nürburgring, Monterey Historics. 2001 Festival of Speed, it ran here at the Festival of Speed in the Monte Carlo class, which it won at the Festival of Speed. And there's a scrutineering sticker there from Monza as well. Unlike this car, for instance, which has got plastic doors, which were homologated, this car still has steel doors. Still has all the window winding mechanism and all the rest of it in it. The rear wings are steel. The boot lid is fiberglass, but I've retained a lot of the interior. It still has a lot of the interior trim in it. It has a Shelby style seat, R model type seat rather than a modern racing seat. So it's very sort of period correct. In fact, the only thing that isn't period correct on it is the tachometer. Everything else is was there from 1964. Tried to keep it as original as possible. I've had the car 30 odd years. It raced at the first revival in 1998. Since then I've done events all over. It's a very original, much loved car. It's not super competitive, and yes, we will be firmly at the back. They don't have a fire tender in this race at the back, so we will have to make our own fun.
I've never sat in it before. Actually, that's a lie. I've just sat in it just now, moved the seat forward, it fits me. Yeah, this is the spirit of Goodwood, isn't it? We don't have to come first, we're not looking for a pot. It's a beautiful original car, a bit down on power, but the great equaliser is the weather. So yeah, we're hoping this precipitation goes on throughout the day, and then we'll see what we can do, but just have some fun. It's October and we're still racing, so we're happy.
Doing your out after in spring and then coming in.
Julian's doing 3 laps. I'm going out, but the weather is a bit tricky. So hopefully this will level the horsepower a bit. But yeah, I think safety is the main word today. There's monsoon out there. In you go, I'll get rid of that. Got fluid on there as well.
It's ridiculous out there, it's so slippery, but it's kind of level playing field a bit, you know, in as much as the faster cars are just spinning their wheels all the time. So yeah, we're just cruising along, got the radio on. I actually feel really elated now because I'm out of the car. My eyes were out here somewhere. Chris has held off a much faster car for a lap now. It's incredibly slippery. I mean, seeing cars sideways on the Levant Straight is like...
So qualifying went pretty well because it was wet. And that meant, I think we did as well as we could in it. We're not last, we're third or fourth from last, which is a fantastic result because even the cars behind us have a lot more power. Get these juices out of the way first. The weather is now brilliant, it's dry, so we're going to struggle in the race. I think we're going backwards, but yeah, I'm going to start the race. Julian goes second, bring it home without a dent in it, and just enjoy the Goodwood experience. So, we're in October and we're racing, I'm just happy.
Absolutely no idea why we're this far up the grid, because the car is not that quick. It tells you a lot about Chris Harris's talent. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it is for Chris. It is dry, so everybody will romp away from him. But hopefully, he'll find somebody to play with, and we'll get to half time and see where we are.
Not the result we wanted. I didn't even get to hand the car over to Julian because we had a long safety car period because of that big accident. Hope everyone's okay. And then when the safety car window opened, I then had a half spin and couldn't start the car, which is such a shame because it was a lovely old thing. And I hate to say it, even though I was running stock last, the only place a driver can be happy being stock last is at Goodwood when the sun's out. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry that you didn't get to drive your motor car. I'm now going to go and sit in the corner of shame for a bit.
As weekends go, it's been fairly epic actually. For a lot of people, the idea of a DNF is not a great weekend, but seeing what Chris did with the car, he was absolutely incredible. The idea that we were still on the same lap as the leader before the safety car came out is, remarkable. The car's giving away at least 50 kilograms compared to everybody else, and probably 100 brake horsepower. So in the wet practice, that was fantastic. We weren't embarrassed by the little amount of power we had, and in fact, Chris was fantastic. So that was good. Obviously, with the dry conditions of the race, we were always going to get humiliated, but he did a sterling job, and he shouldn't be mortified that he wasn't able to give me the car back because he didn't do anything wrong. It was down to the car really. We had problems with the rear brakes, which snatched and pitched him into a spin when he had to brake inadvertently, and unfortunately, stalling it, he couldn't get it started. It was when it was hot, it just didn't want to start, and although it fired once, he couldn't get it to idle, so he unfortunately had to abandon ship out on the track, which, as I say, he was mortified about, but he shouldn't have been at all. I mean, he just did a fantastic job. I'm just mortified that yet again, Chris didn't manage to finish a race in a Ford Falcon. I thought if there's anything I can give him is a race finish in the Falcon, but sadly that wasn't to be. So we're just going to have another go.